We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. Hey everyone, welcome to High School Famous, the podcast. We were already talking about high school, but hopefully we'll not be on.
What?
You know this intro well. You don't even need me to say it clearly.
I just because I know it doesn't mean I don't want to hear it.
Hello and welcome to High School
Clearly.
Famous, the podcast where we will probably talk about high school, but hopefully we will not. My name is Sean.
My name is Matt.
This is episode 144 out of,
Well, 144
at the time
or
of this recording,
145 if we don't want to count if we're not counting the lost episode. Lost episode being as in we've never aired it. It's not
technically
lost.
Matt knows exactly where it is. I'm pretty sure he's looking at it right now.
No.
Oh,
I have it on a hard drive.
gross. Is it an outie or an innie? That's how I want to describe hard drives now. I just bought an outie hard drive.
I think
My innie hard drive is too small.
I'm not sure if I have that one saved on my innie or if it's just saved on my outie. I'm not exactly sure.
Well,
I think it's probably on both, to be honest. The Audacity files are in one are on the outie, and then I think the finalized version of it is on an innie.
It's good to have backups.
Yeah.
So back up into that outie whenever you can, ladies, just so you don't lose your precious files. Hey, let's do a dad joke. Okay, it's dad joke of the week. I've decided to quit my job as a personal trainer because the weights are too heavy. I just handed in my 2-week notice. Come on, put some more snaz on that instrument. Is that a trumpet?
Oh, let's see.
That's it. The muffler? Is that the piece that looks like a plunger without a handle?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about that before.
Possibly, but I don't remember things. Good use of your muffler.
Good use of my hands, ladies.
You unclogged that trumpet for sure. Now it sounds...
It was clogged to begin with.
Now it sounds pristine. It was clogged with sweet jazz.
Sweet jazz.
I said jazz, right?
Yeah.
An overabundance of dried up crusty jazz was it filled the inside of your trumpet, and you just cleared it all out.
That sounds it sounds bad, but it shouldn't. Crusty jazz.
Dried up crusty jazz.
Oh, I got dried up crusty jazz all over my socks.
Now my record player won't play.
Oh. Have you ever prematurely jazzed?
No, I have not.
Accidentally played jazz for a lady a little too quickly.
Every time was the perfect time.
And you find out she's not into jazz.
She hates jazz.
Yeah.
She's like, get this jazz off of me.
Like, I'm about to hit you right in the face with this jazz, girl.
Give you a jazz necklace.
She's like, it's not where I like to take my jazz.
Yeah, you need to aim somewhere else.
Yeah, I like to take my jazz orally.
Go find that little waste paper basket and fill that with your jazz.
Put your jazz up.
I don't want that anywhere near me.
Yeah.
So she says.
I mean, she should just be happy because some guys can't jazz at all.
Some guys have no rhythm.
They just have the inability to jazz.
Yeah, they can they just can't find the right rhythm to ultimately jazz.
Yeah,
during the session,
which is weird because sometimes jazz has sometimes you got to have some different kinds of rhythms and tempos when you're with jazz.
Oh yeah, sometimes you got to switch hands,
switch it up,
whatever hand you're playing with.
Sometimes
you're jazzing with.
Sometimes it gets too boring, and you have to add some different rhythms in there to really
to add some excitement to the situation.
Get the jazz out.
Yeah. And you know what? You can't go too long without jazzing because
you
just get this urge. Let's just say this like a buildup.
Well, I mean, you can become
jazz.
or you can get aggressive if you haven't jazzed in a while.
Well, you don't jazz enough, you might find yourself having the blues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I hope you're not coming to this podcast for, information or entertainment or, any sort of substance, because I think you should be well aware by now, if you're a regular listener, that that's not what we provide. At best, we provide a smattering of jazz every now and then.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably going to jazz a little later.
I don't want to know what you are going to do later.
Yeah.
Especially if it involves jazz.
I jazzed yesterday evening.
So, do you often end up with jazz hands?
No, I'm really good.
I'm so good at jazz.
I'm so good at jazzing that I never get jazz hands.
It never gets messy when I jazz.
If I'm not careful, sometimes I get jazz on other things, but nothing little soapy water can't fix.
Do your neighbors ever complain about you jazzing too loud?
Oh no!
Turn your jazz down. Turn down that jazz.
No, I
try to jazz
try not to get my neighbors involved in my jazz habits.
Well, you invite them once, they say no. You respectfully just don't invite them again. That's how it works.
Right? Yeah.
I haven't learned that lesson yet.
Yeah.
Because people might change their minds. Although that you just leave it as an open invitation. Open-ended jazzing.
When did you first?
When was the first time you jazzed? Do you remember?
When was the first time you got into jazz? I used to jazz at my parents' house all the time when I was younger.
In secret. I'm pretty sure they never knew.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they never suspected I was ever jazzing.
I usually just jazz when I'm like watching videos on the internet. That's when I jazz the most.
What kind of videos really put you in the jazzy mood?
I don't know, like
big band.
Usually.
Or do you like a solo artist? Like, what's your? Do you like singer songwriter? Like, what is what's your?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
What's your preferred? Yeah.
It varies.
Yeah.
It
depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends on the day,
the hour.
Yeah, could be that. Yeah, could literally be the hour. I mean, it could change up halfway through.
Sure.
During a good jazz session.
Okay.
I mean,
like, I'm bored with this track.
Yeah. Every once in a while, just as you're in the middle of a good jazz sesh.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to switch over from country to some R&B.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some Latin hip hop.
Sure.
Maybe some
a good girl group,
Riverdance. Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Well, that was great. I think
that horse died.
I think I just jazzed.
Get in the comments. When was the last time you jazzed?
Yeah, and what really gets you what's your quickest way to a jazz? I don't know.
What gets you to jazz the fastest?
Let us know. We want to know that about you.
Yeah. Unless you're under 18. That's too young to be jazzing.
Yeah, we don't want to
Or at least letting us know about it.
Yeah, don't. We specifically, explicitly do not want to know about that. What you been up to, man?
Not a ton. Just working, not sleeping enough. Trying to think.
You're not drinking your 107 ounces of water a day, or just getting your 8 hours of sleep a night?
Is it supposed to be 107 now?
I don't know. I looked up something.
32, I thought.
I looked up something a while ago. I mean, I heard some doctors say
you should drown every day.
There's not supposed to be some one number that applies to everybody. Right. It's just like anything else, where everybody's different. So they're like, here's a really
until just before you feel like you're about to throw up, and then you're good.
what he said, here's the best way to tell if you need to drink water or not. Are you thirsty? If you are, drink some water. If you're not, you don't need to drink any water.
Yeah.
It kind of was as simple as that, according to this doctor.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I definitely this last week I've been cutting back on soda. I still drink it, but I'm trying to drink less of it. So I've been drinking a lot more water again.
Yeah, it's always
which is, hey, it's almost summer's almost over. Now's the time to start, cutting out the sugars and just taking in the water.
Now it's time to start cooling off.
So yeah, I'm trying to do that. I'm kind of just at least trying to cut back to only drinking soda at home, which seems counterproductive, sort of. But I was drinking it at work and at home, and then.
So then you quit your job?
No, I didn't quit my job.
You're like, I can't take this anymore.
I can't. Yeah, no. Both me and my job can't afford me to quit my job right now.
Oh, don't put that on you. You can quit your job whenever you want. Don't worry about your job recovering from you quitting your job. Don't worry about that.
No, I know. I'd feel bad though if I did.
Nope. Don't feel bad.
No, I would.
Nope. Don't do that.
I'm saying this with the fact that I have no intention on quitting my job because I don't hate my job. I'm treated well there, and I know what I'm doing, and I get paid fairly decently for what I do. So
sure,
I have no intentions of ever quitting my job in the foreseeable future. But I would, because of how good they are to me, I would feel bad if I just up and quit for like no good reason. If I had a real good reason to leave, I wouldn't feel that bad about it. But
got it. I thought you were going to be my editor.
What do you mean?
Weren't you going to be my editor, and then that would be how you make money?
Well, yeah, but you have to be able to pay me to do that.
Yeah, so that's something I wanted to talk to you about. I may never be able to pay you.
That I may never be your editor.
But we won't know until we try,
No, we'll know when we try.
See, I'm trying this all out right now where I'm my own editor, and that's not working out. Yeah. But something might change. Yourself. Something might change if maybe you'll edit way better than I will. And then, the people's eyes will open, and it'll turn this whole thing around.
Well, we will cross that bridge when we get there. Because right now, the problem is, for me to edit for you, there'd be a big upfront cost immediately, because I don't have any of the programs you already use that you already have. So I would have to purchase all of that stuff just to be able to even do anything.
All right, so at first, we might have to do it where I'm on my computer with the programs, but you're telling me what to do.
That's an awful idea.
And so, because maybe
it can just take you twice as long to do everything.
Yeah, but the ideas will be coming from you, and maybe that's what is missing here are the ideas.
Okay.
I see a clip that's too long. I'm like, make it longer. If the audio is too quiet, I'm like, turn that down. These are the solutions I'm coming up with, and something is not working out.
Okay.
These do not look or sound great. So maybe you've got some, exact opposite ideas that I don't have that would really help boost up the production value of my projects.
I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about what my exact opposites of what you're doing ideas would be.
Well, first I'll have to give you an example of all of my ideas, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can
just watch one of your videos.
You can just craft the exact opposite of the steps I take.
Okay. I can just watch one of your videos and then do the opposite of that.
Like when I'm editing something, I'm
already doing.
When I'm editing something, I'm like, gosh, importing media is just such a pain. I'm just not going to bring any clips or audio into it. I'm just going to, it's so much more clean looking without all that clutter.
It's so much more clean looking when it's just a 10-minute video of black silence.
Yeah. But that's with the opacity all the way up. So, what are you thinking I should do like a white background over white noise, or with white noise over a white background?
You'd have to import that white noise though.
Well, it's another opposite. This is already getting better. So white background, white noise, import background and noise. Should I export when I'm done?
No.
Oh.
No exporting.
Okay.
Just immediately upload.
Keep the work in America. I like your style. Keep it local. I'm creating jobs.
I think you should end every one of your videos with
this video was made in America.
This video was made in America.
This video was made and assembled in America.
This video employed one person.
That's presuming that I get some sort of wage from doing this.
This video provided jobs for one American worker.
Yeah. This project, took up time from one person that he won't get back, but it was an American person on American soil.
That's just
I had it outside.
So much time that you could have spent jazzing.
I always go into a project post jazz.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to.
I need to get that.
You have to have that post jazz clarity.
I need to get that quote energy out of me.
Yeah. That evil jazz energy needs to go.
That's all fun and games. I hope everyone knows that Matt and I are truly talking about this style of music called jazz.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, I'm not. I'm talking about the Queen album called Jazz.
Oh, I was using it as a euphemism for ejaculating.
Ejaculating music.
Yeah.
Out of your speakers.
That's how I write music.
Yeah.
I ejaculate it from myself.
Onto the instruments. How I create. That's how the trumpet got full of crusty, dried up jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And that was your best album, in my opinion.
Yeah. I modeled it after the Beatles. I called it the White Album.
Nice.
Yeah.
It won a Franklin.
I don't know what that is.
That's an award that you made up to give yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would have called it a Johnson.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, what are we going to do here? We've got, one announcement. Last night, I Ubered for about 10 hours. And passenger, Angie, if you're listening, you know who you are. I've got your container of ranch-flavored popcorn seasoning. So reach out if you want that back. I've got that container of ranch-flavored popcorn seasoning you left behind. Come and get it.
Couldn't you have messaged her through the app?
Well, I was already onto a new ride.
Okay.
So once a ride has ended, you can't contact that person anymore. You can only.
I suppose that's probably for the best.
Yeah, you can only message or call someone while they're picking you up or whatever.
So if she wanted it back, she would have to probably contact Uber, and then Uber would be able to look up the ride and contact you. Probably.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I'm like, this is such a stupid thing that this person probably does not care if they get back or not, but I'm just going to report it anyway. So I reported a lost and found, and I said this, and at first I did it on the app itself just through the live chat, but then I said, can I let you know what the item is? Because I provided my phone.
They might not care.
Well, I provided my phone number so they can contact me if they want it. If they want to coordinate meeting up somewhere to give it back. But then when we got through all that conversation, then I just typed, can I say what it is so that you can put that in the notes because I'm like, this person probably doesn't even want this. And they're like, we hope you enjoyed your experience using Uber Help live chat. And so they didn't even respond to that. So I had to call them for something completely different anyway. They had my license plate number listed wrong again. I don't know why it keeps changing back to missing a digit and throwing a digit in there that isn't in there.
Right.
So I said, hey, I reported this lost item left in my car. Who can I tell what this is? Because I don't want this person thinking it's something important.
Right. Because they don't want them wasting their time if they've already gone to the store and gotten a new one.
Yeah. So I'm just like, this is what it is.
Two of those.
Right. So I'm like, this is what it is. So I have a 99.9% certainty I will not be contacted to deliver this this stuff.
Possibly not. Looks like you just got some free ranch popcorn seasoning, was it?
Yeah, I didn't check to see if it's already opened. I'm not going to use it.
It'd be funnier if she's just like, it's actually trash.
It's actually cocaine. Oh.
Oh, no, okay.
Much different. I sprinkle cocaine on my popcorn.
I mean, it's one way to get it down.
I mean, it could have been some kind of contraband.
Yeah. And
Maybe.
Now you have it.
Now I'm in possession of it. And if I get pulled over and they're like, "What's in this shaker?" I'm like, "Well, read the label,
like,
you stupid cop."
I assume it's ranch seasoning for popcorn. You're under arrest.
For assuming it's ranch? No, because what it actually is. Put your hands on the hood of the car.
Yeah. Spread them.
Spread your hands. Yeah. I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna check you. Please don't jazz on me.
I like how you said that's like weird. Like, oh, I have an announcement to make, and it was just unless you told this person about our podcast.
No, I know.
While you're riding around with them,
that's why I'm like, if you're listening, you know who you are.
Which, to be honest, I would never want an Uber driver to be like, "Hey, and also."
Yeah, no.
Check out my podcast.
No.
Like, I'm definitely not going to be doing that.
This person was basically just asleep the entire time in the back anyway. So there wouldn't have been a conversation. There wouldn't have been a possibility for me to shamefully plug my podcast.
Man, you could have just taken her anywhere.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, you wanted to go to Target Field? The game's over, but I mean, here you are at gate 114." I will. This is a real announcement, though.
Okay.
You know about this.
I know about this.
Matt knows about this.
Okay.
Over Labor Day weekend, I will be in the same place as Matt.
Oh, my God.
So you can look forward to...
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Same place.
Everybody can look forward to a Same Place episode, which, in my opinion, are...
some of the episodes we've done.
The most unhinged ones, probably.
Yeah, and keep some ears out for some special guests going to be joining us for the.
I mean, it's not possible. It's definitely
or those episodes. Hey, we could get there, and they could be like, "Nah, never mind. We're not feeling it. You guys go do what you like to do. We're gonna have fun."
Nah, it won't happen.
I'm just not promising something that we may or may not be able to deliver on.
I will be promising because I always deliver that sweet, sweet jazz.
Yeah.
Sean, let's get to the meat of this episode.
Yeah, this is this could crash and burn.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of airplanes, this is
speaking of airplanes,
this is the 20 best, absolutely real, funny travel stories that will make you cry from laughter, Matt.
Yeah, and if you have been following along with our show at any point, at any time, you know that when we read the funniest stories on the internet, they live up to their name.
So now Matt's already heard the first story, but
sort of.
Obviously, you guys haven't, but this is just going to give everyone a taste of what to expect. Full disclosure, we have not read stories 2 through 20, so we don't know what they are, but here we go. Number 1 is The Royal Flight Story of P, just a first initial. I used to travel frequently between Europe and USA for work, sometimes even several times a month. And there was this specific British Midland Airways flight I used to take. I said the right words, but the inflection was like I was saying the wrong words.
I used to take that as well.
Yeah. It was especially hard when I was pregnant. On one of those occasions, as in one of those times I was pregnant, or one of those flights while I was pregnant. I suppose you're pregnant for 9 months. You can fly a lot of times during that term. Anyway,
at least 9.
On one of those occasions, I remember being severely jet lagged, tired from the work week, and hormonal, and nearly bursting to tears from it all when I boarded the flight.
Oh, this is tragic. I can't wait to see how it gets funny.
I know. I mean, we have one sentence left, so this is where the hilarity has to be just packed in.
Right.
Turned out I was the only passenger in business class, so the crew took extra good care of me. One was massaging my feet, another was combing my hair, and the third gave me a manicure. I have never flown such class with such class again. The end.
I mean, hilarious. And no. There's no way. Okay, so where was she? Did she say where to and from? So between Europe and US.
Between Europe and
US.
There's
no way. First off, there's no way you're the only person in business class.
Right.
It's not happening. And depending on how pregnant you are, you're not flying at all. At a certain point, they don't let you fly.
Well, clearly this was during a point where she could still fly, man.
I guess, but she was, all right. I guess you can be hormonal during any time in your pregnancy, so that doesn't really mean shit. But
you can't fly right now, miss. You're too hormonal.
But also, the flight attendants aren't going to be massaging your feet, combing your hair, and giving you a manicure, even if you are the only person in business class. Like, you might get treated nicer as like they'll kind of wait on you a little bit more.
Yeah, they'll give you an extra pillow.
Sure, like, hey, you need anything else? We'll do blah, blah, blah. But they're not going to be like, oh, you're having a hard time. Let's 3 of us not do our jobs and just wait on you literally head to foot.
Well, if the 3 of them are only working business class, what else do they have to do?
I mean,
there must be other flight attendants that work the coach section of the plane.
I guess.
Which, is that the case?
But probably, I don't know. I've never flown on a plane that had like those kinds of separate classes before, because I'm only really flying to and from different states and shit. So it's like, there's kind of there's the front of the plane that's kind of like the first classy kind of part of the plane where it's a little bit, the seats are a little bit bigger, a little bit more leg room, but that's all still the same staff that takes care of everybody. But no, I don't care. Like, they're not going to just be, I don't care who you are. You're not just going to be like, I'm going to massage this random stranger's feet. Unless you're a masseuse and that's what you do for a living. You're a flight attendant. You don't do that shit. It's like, especially the combing hair to me is the weirdest one, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, let me just sit and comb your hair for you. That would be so uncomfortable for me.
The only one that seems slightly feasible is the manicure one. And when I'm saying manicure here, I'm just saying like they painted her nails. I don't think she got a full manicure.
Well, they wouldn't have any of the tools for that shit unless that woman had nail polish with her, or if one of the flight attendants had nail polish.
Right. And those would have to be in containers that are small enough to be approved on board anyway, which they usually are, I think. I don't often find myself in the market for some nail polish.
You definitely don't buy it in gallons.
Yeah, not anymore. There's an expiration date.
So this story, not only is it not funny, I don't think it's even remotely true, or like, it's not even a good story.
So
even if it wasn't supposed to be funny, it's not even an entertaining story by any means.
It's not, but I do want to sort of say how maybe it's not out of the question. Like, it's a flight from somewhere in Europe to the US. That's a long flight. So let's say during 40 minutes of that flight, they're doing this. And then she's not even saying that they did this all at once. Someone can't massage. I mean, you could get the foot massage and the manicure and the hair combing all at the same time. Yeah. But she didn't even say that. So,
I suppose not.
I mean, they
could have been one person just doing everything in separate.
Yeah, I bet you it was like, oh, while we're working the other parts of the plane, like serving meals and all this other stuff, so and so is hanging back with whoever P and combing her hair, because she is a passenger. She has to get waited on as well. She's not like she's just another flight attendant that's getting this treatment.
Right.
So
I just don't buy the only person in business class thing, because they want to fill those flights. So even if, because plus there's a whole waitress distribution thing on a plane.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, you're right. And so they probably had they were probably offering other people that maybe had a different flight to the same place, like maybe later, or maybe they could have been offering that to, hey, you want to bump up your flight a couple hours early because we got some room on this plane.
Yeah, I just don't see a plane flying like halfway around the world like that. Not halfway, but that
1/6.
That chunk of a flight. Like, I don't see a flight like that going that empty. You know what I mean? That's an expensive flight.
It is.
They're going to fill that thing.
And we don't know how many people were in coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've given this story way more time than it deserved.
All right. Matt, you've got number 2. Let's hear it.
All right. Number 2. If navigation tells me, I go. Story of Linda. We drove with a colleague from Latvia to Poland. I assume these are mostly overseas stories at this point. It is not too close, and I didn't know the road, so I turned on my sat nav. Definitely an English story. I mean, Latvia to Poland. I don't know why I had to even say that. And we went. After a while, we see a line and realize it's a border crossing. Okay, strange, as the road to Poland goes through Lithuania, and it is all Schengen or Schengen. Schengen. So there should not be any borders. The Border Patrol asked us for our passports and visas. What visas? It turned out that our navigation decided to take the shortest route through Belarus. We obviously didn't have the visas, so we had to turn the car around. As the other cars were really close behind us, the Border Patrol had to go ask everyone to move back so we could turn around. God. I mean, that is just a classic tale of traveling to Poland from Latvia.
I've seen so many movies about this exact same thing.
Yeah. European road trip.
What? One of them won a Johnson, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best jazzing. Best supportive
jazz.
Most supportive jazz. So it's like, what's hilarious about this story?
I don't know.
We unexpectedly found ourselves having to cross a border, and we didn't have the paperwork to do so, so we had to go back.
I would assume. So here's the thing. They're going from Latvia to Poland. They are going from one country to the other. Should they not have to have their passports and visas anyways?
Maybe. I guess. Why would it be any different?
Apparently definitely need it. They said it goes through Lithuania. The road to Poland goes through Lithuania, so that's another country.
That's a great song.
Whatever this Schengen is, it's all Schengen, so there should not be any borders. So I don't know if that just means like they're all part in some group of countries that you don't need to do that for. I don't know enough about Europe to really see if that. I'm just going to assume that's what that means. So they wouldn't need their passports or their visas.
Like, is that the case with something like the EU? Do you not need a visa?
Maybe
or
not
to go from, say, Germany to France or something. You know?
Yeah, maybe you don't. Well, no, I think you still need them because I remember hearing a different story about like a class trip that went to another country and then they were traveling back and they forgot the passports at the hotel and somebody had to turn around and go back and get the passports and
see. Again, see, this is a story as old as time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just common. I still don't know what part of the story was funny.
I don't know either. Maybe it was the word colleague. I mean, that's a funny word.
Is it just the fact that the Border Patrol had to ask other cars to move back so they could turn around? I can't imagine a Border Patrol is that tight that you can't that it's like single file cars only. There could be a turnaround point. I know like most like places, if they're like, well, you got to turn around, they'll send you through the gate and then there's a turnaround point where you then have to go and they send you back. Cause you can't just back up and turn around. Cause especially I'd say most Border Patrols are probably like, these lanes are all kind of secluded off to go this direction. The other lanes are secluded off to come back. So you can't just like whip back around. You have to go through through into the other country and then come immediately back.
Yeah, they have a long rope that's attached to the wall, and then you have to roll your window down, and then that other end of the rope hooks to your door, and then you drive, and then it just makes your car turn 180 degrees, and then you're headed back in the other direction, exactly in the lane you're meant to be in. They measured it. No matter which lane you're coming from, there's a rope for you.
Well, I was gonna say when you and Travis went to Mexico, and then immediately decided not to.
Yeah, we. didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United States. We didn't whip around right there in the United Sta
You like drove down a little bit. And
we
then
drove. We were in. I think we were, including the waiting, I think we were in Mexico for about a half an hour.
Yeah.
Something like that. I forget. Maybe
so
we were
I know they were very curious about you guys coming back so quickly.
A little bit. I mean, I told them we hate your country.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was going to get us fast tracked, but they wanted
we
to
were just picking
bags.
up. We were just trying to pick up a couple people and bring them back with us.
Yeah, they told us that they live in America and their car broke down, so we wanted to help them out.
And they accidentally crossed the border into Mexico.
Yeah, looking for help.
Come pick them up and bring them back.
Yeah.
All right, Linda, your story sucked.
My compadres. Yeah, Linda, I hate you. Go back to Poland or Latvia or whatever. Whatever
Latvia.
Schengen place you came.
I like how it starts off of also. This is the story of Linda. We drove with a colleague.
Yeah, how come?
Who's we?
How come Linda's pal or pals don't get any name drops in here?
Yeah,
well, are they not worth it? All right. Well, we're only supposed to sympathize for Linda, I guess.
I guess so.
All right, number 3, The Dream About the Blue Sea, Story of R.
That sounds like a title of a book.
Yeah, The Dream About the Blue Sea.
Minus the story of R part.
Yeah. I used to work as a model in China. It was long hours of photo shoots and even longer castings. And there was never time to do any sightseeing. I doubt that. At one of those casting days, I was waiting in line with 100 other girls to see the client. While we were waiting, one of the employees walked in the room and said, "Who wants to go to the Blue Sea?" Of course, I jump at the opportunity and yell at the top of my lungs, "Me, me, me!" Then I noticed all the girls looking at me funny. Turns out the man had said, "Who wants to go to the We Sea?" Well, it said like the
I don't know why that's in parentheses. It just says WC. And then in parentheses, we see.
I thought that was like to say this is how they said it, but WC, I'm guessing means water closet, which means bathroom.
Yeah,
because that's how it is in French.
Who comes out and says that? Who wants to go to the WC?
Yeah. Wouldn't anyone who had to go just go up and go, "Hey, I need to use the restroom"?
Yeah, it's a weird thing to come into a room and announce like, "Hey, all right, who wants to go to the bathroom?
It's time for the bathroom tour." It only happens on the half of every hour. I have not
going to the bathroom and was never seen again.
I have not started laughing, nor have I started crying as a result of laughing, nor have I started crying for any other reason.
I mean, at this point now, I just want to go to the bathroom.
Can we see?
Mm-hmm. Let's move forward, because I feel like we're going to just have to power through these.
All right.
Because these, unfortunately, aren't even like entertaining for the wrong reasons.
Hey, this one's got a celebrity's name in the title.
Yeah, I wish I could see Meryl Streep. Story of K. I don't know why they have to put that, but like, who cares who wrote it?
I know.
Other than the fact that we can just mock these initials. All right. I was flying to the Middle East in business class. Were they the only one?
I was hoping to get a manicure and some hair brushing.
Yeah. Once boarded and getting comfortable in my chair at the last row in business. Oh, that's the worst one. That's basically Coach.
I know. You can pretty much like reach back and touch someone in Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I overheard crew talking about Meryl Streep is on the same flight. I'm a huge fan. So I jumped and pressed for details. Where is she? That's it. Those are the details that
these are the two details I want to know. Where is she?
As everyone else was seating and I couldn't see her, the crew told me they absolutely can't tell me or show. And if I can promise I won't tell anyone, as they can get into a lot of trouble for even saying she is here. The flight is over and I hadn't seen Meryl. So as I was walking out the aircraft when the crew says goodbye, I said, but I wish I could see Meryl Streep. I saw them looking funny at me and then behind me. I turned back and there she was in a puffy coat, no makeup, and she didn't look too happy to be mentioned like that. She looked at me and said, "Here I am. So what?"
And then she pulled off her glove and slapped her up. Properly slapped her across the face.
Meryl Streep would be an asshole.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. She seems like she's a really nice person.
She's one of those like actors, like serious, thinks that it's bigger than life, and I think it's funny that they're warning her that she can't mention anything about Meryl Streep being on the plane, but she found out from the crew that Meryl Streep was on the plane,
right?
Or he or she. I don't know who Kay is,
right? But I don't know.
Well, and at the same time, not the whole thing is dumb because you can't say anything about her being on the plane. We can't even really tell you that she's on the plane. Yet she can just walk up right behind some stranger in the aisle of the plane. There's nothing secretive about it.
If she didn't, if it was so secretive that they weren't supposed to say anything, like if Meryl Streep was like, I don't want anybody to know I'm on this plane. I just want to have a normal flight, whatever. She wouldn't have announced that's who she was.
Well,
I mean, yes, the person turned back and saw her, but she could have just pretended, like she could have just ignored her and walked on or some shit. But I don't know. Maybe she wasn't. She
is an actor, though, so
yeah,
there is always going to be that level of wanting attention on you.
She was acting annoyed. Oh, I get it.
Jazz.
She wasn't really annoyed. She's just a really good actress.
She wasn't really Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
She wasn't really not wearing makeup. She had makeup on to make it look like she wasn't wearing makeup.
She was Sterile Meep.
Sterile Meep, that's what I call her.
Sterile Meep.
All right, let's go on. Hopefully this one's hilarious like the others.
Doubt it.
Wow, this is very short. It looks like it's about one sentence, maybe two.
It's
number
a 2-sentence scary story.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
here we go.
Meatworm. The Sri Lankan meatworm. Friendly Sri Lankan. Story of Yolanta.
Oh.
We met a friendly local guy while visiting Sri Lanka. For the rest of the story, he will be referred to as the friendly Sri Lankan.
Mm.
So the three of us were walking down the beach. Me, my husband, and the guy.
You lied. He will be referred to as the guy.
Let me read it again. Me, my husband, and the friendly Sri Lankan.
Ah.
I was holding hands with my husband. So the friendly Sri Lankan decided to do the same and grabbed my husband by his hand. And he said, here I am. So what? It's me, Sterile Meat.
This is a silly story you tell your family. Like, oh, this kind of silly, funny thing happened on the trip. Like, we met this nice guy and we were walking, and then since I was holding my husband's hand, he decided to hold my husband's hand too, and it was funny. You don't put it on the internet. Leave us alone. Leave us out of this. We don't.
I know. It's like, oh, you know what?
We don't need to know.
This story deserves to live forever online.
This is like 90% of the shit you'd see on Funniest Home Videos. And you're just like, this isn't funny.
Now, hold on. This is some site that compiled these stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they weren't like, hey, for this website, we're asking everyone to submit crazy travel stories. This could have just been someone's Facebook status update.
I mean,
and then they pulled it for this
tweet.
website. It's a tweet at best. It's an X.
Yeah, it's as rebranded as it is. People are still going to say Twitter and tweet.
Yeah, and no one's going to want to say, look how many X followers I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Stuff like this just, it's weird because it's like, I never want to try to claim that I'm hilarious. Like, I know I have a good sense of humor. I know I can be funny because I can make people laugh. But then you read shit like this and you're just like, the world is full of so many unfunny people that think something like this is, you're going to cry from laughter from a story of a Sri Lankan grabbed my husband's hand.
So what this should tell us, Matt, is we need to stop being so hard on ourselves, because
apparently
it's a lot easier to make people laugh than we might think it is. I'll give you an example. So where I work now, for some reason, we have to scan a badge to get through 3 doors before we get to our work area. And they're all basically, it's like get off the elevator, scan, go through a door. Immediately turn to your left, and immediately you're at the next door. Scan your badge, go to that door. go down for about 4
it's a
feet.
security trap.
Go to your left. You're at another door. Scan that door. I was following somebody. They scanned and opened the door in front of me and then held it open for me. And I said, oh, thank you. Then we got to the second door. They opened and held it for me again. I said, thank you. And then the third door, I wasn't going that way. So then they opened that door and I said, no, thank you. And that person laughed all the way walking down the hall.
Yeah, I guess it just doesn't take much. For some
so
people.
I walked away from that and I immediately thought of us. And I'm like, I was going to say that to you. I'm like, it's not as hard as we think. We need to not be so hard on ourselves about,
I guess so,
making people laugh or we're not so worried about being boring and you know what I mean. So it's we have our own standards or we're bored with ourselves or each other probably to some extent. So of course this is like torture for me right now. I'm miserable. I wish I could be jazzing right now. Well, I could be jazzing right now. I am jazzing.
You could be jazzing right now. I mean, if you scoot in a little bit closer to your desk or lift your camera up a little bit, you can jazz all you want, and I wouldn't even know it.
That's true. I did. My monitor is mounted now, so it won't wobble.
Yeah.
Okay, go to the next story.
The Chinese power bank story of Zane. When I arrived in China, all my luggage was checked by customs and security, item by item. I have no idea what they were looking for. But then the customs/security officer found a power bank in my bag and asked me what it is. No, he didn't.
He said, what is it? And by the way, how funny is Zane, right?
Hilarious. Zane's so funny.
Far.
But
yeah.
Do you honestly think that a customs/security officer at an airport doesn't know what a fucking power bank is?
Maybe not.
They have them there at the fucking airport, guaranteed to plug in all their machines and shit.
Look, this is an old school guy.
All right.
He's not up to date with the newfangled technology.
Right.
What's a cell phone?
Well, unfortunately, all the employees barely spoke any English, which was weird because we were in China. Soon, there was a crowd of them around me, but none could understand what I was saying. After a long conversation, I tried to explain by showing how I plug in the phone and how it starts charging, but without any comprehension from them, period. I saw how employees already got angry with me. Some were whispering and showing to me. Someone started and showing to me. They were presenting.
Look at us, we're angry. In Chinese.
Someone started telling to someone something on the walkie-talkie, and all are looking at me, discussing something, and so the conversation continues. What is this? ? This is a power bank for charging. What is this? 3 question marks. Finally, I got really angry and was showing to the power bank and yelled, "Made in China." The employee looked at the little sticker on the power bank and said, "Oh, yes." And all of them turned around and left. What? Fuck.
I do think that's a little funny at the end. Just the way I'm picturing it. Oh, and then they all just turn around and like one person sees it. They all turn around and just
here's the thing. One of them spoke English. The rest of them didn't.
Right.
The rest of them aren't going to know what that fucking sticker says.
Well, the one person that speaks English could be translating then to everyone else so that they all understand what's going on. Yes?
But he yelled "Made in China," and then they all looked at the sticker and said, "Oh, yes," and turned around and left.
Yeah, so now all of a sudden they can read
explanation.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I still do not believe that a group of fucking people in China don't know what a power bank is. This person's telling a story making people in China look like a bunch of like idiots, or like they're so like behind on the times they don't know what a fucking power bank is.
Yeah, I mean, it was made in China. How much
well,
like
yeah, that's the other crazy thing is like
are assembled there.
Yeah, like most. This story is so stupid.
But,
can't be real.
But the people that work at the airport are not the ones assembling them, so they might not necessarily know what they are.
Still, there's no way. You might look, here's the thing. You might not know what the word like what the name power bank, what it means, right? You might not associate that with a surge protector or, a multi-plug-in, whatever. There's no way you show that to anybody. They don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever they call it, you can have a million different names for whatever you call it, but just looking at it, you know exactly what it is and what it does.
Yeah, it's the no tether supercharging block.
There you go. Okay. This is a stupid story. I literally think this person was sitting in their house.
Who's Zane?
He had to plug something into his surge protector and be like, oh, it'd be a funny story if I told a story about how somebody didn't know what that was.
So you think that's what he came up with?
Here's the deal. Let's make fun of the Chinese and how,
well, we are at war with them.
They don't know anything.
I mean, the relationship between U.S. and China right now is kind of rocky.
Well, I mean, I doubt this story was written by somebody in the U.S.
I don't know if it's really rocky. I don't follow world politics.
I don't either. Hey,
number 7. Let's get off of Zane here. Let's get off of Zane's brick.
Sure.
Let's get out of his. Let's not fill his jazz bank. All right, the real life Victor Navorsky, The Terminal, story of Santa. I'm assuming they mean the Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal.
Yeah, which is based off of it's based on a true story.
Probably named Victor Navorsky.
Yep.
I had a business trip from Riga to Kiev where I needed to do an important presentation. To be fresh and ready for the challenge, I even flew the evening before to get a good night's sleep. I arrived to Kiev airport, show them my ID card, and the guard says, "But where is your passport?" What passport? I had forgotten it at home, having been so used to traveling in Schengen with my ID card only. Well, there's a little bit of an explanation for that.
Hold on. Before you even continue.
Okay.
How did he get on the flight? Without a passport.
Without the passport. Yeah. A plane ticket?
You have to have your passport before you leave.
Yeah, because the other story, they were driving. This is, they're flying. They would not have been able to get on the plane without it. Well, I don't know.
Unless things are a little different.
Could you have just got on with your ID and your ticket?
Maybe in Europe you don't have to present it ahead of time?
Maybe, but anyway. They're probably just like, oh, I hope. They just hope that everyone goes through has their passport. They don't really care to make the next them sentence check before. Okay. And somehow none of the people who checked my documents in Riga airport noticed that. The airline was immediately,
but okay.
Yeah. They're all incompetent. Maybe they were all crowded around this mysterious power bank and they were distracted. Yeah. The airline was immediately involved.
I would hope so.
That was a very non-impactful thing. As they can get a serious fine for transporting a passenger without valid documents. In the end, it was agreed that my passport will fly the next morning on the next flight to Kiev. So does the passport have to get a passport?
Mail it. Why would you fly it? Do you have to buy a plane ticket for it? This is so weird to me.
Yeah. Good thing my boyfriend could bring it in the morning to the airport. So the boyfriend flew it there?
No, he just brought it to the airport and then somebody put it on a seat and buckled it in.
Yeah. And then the crew gave it a manicure, pedicure, and brushed his hair.
Yeah.
I slept the night at the airport in some border guard's office. Finally, the next morning, my passport arrived and I could deliver my talk. Not as fresh as I'd hoped to be. So far, this one is the most like there's a. It seems like it has believable, and it would be the biggest ordeal to have gone through while traveling compared to these other ones. Like, oh, we had to turn around. Oh, they gave me a manicure. Oh,
but somebody's losing their job.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how many people they had to go through. So if you go through the airport, you go through security, you have to show it the first time there. Then when you're through security, then just when you're about to get on the plane, maybe, or do you just have to show your ticket then?
No, because once you've made it through security, you're in. All you have to do is give them your ticket at the gate.
Yeah. So I wonder how many.
Show your passport again.
Well, I wonder how many, because they said so many people, none of them noticed. But it would have realistically just been one person that would have had to have failed.
Somehow none of the people who checked my documents. So apparently, maybe several people checked his documents. Yeah, I guess I don't really understand how it works everywhere.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why I'm getting more frustrated with these stories, because they're obviously not American airports, and airports outside of America are far less stringent than we are.
Yeah,
because never forget.
I shouldn't laugh.
Why not? But it's I don't know. I don't understand how you could get through an airport without your passport, and why they would be like, oh, sure, we'll just fly. I'm sure the airline was like, we'll do this for you so that to like make up for the huge mistake of allowing you to get on the flight. Like, let's cover our bases. Let's get this guy's his passport, and we'll kind of just cover up this situation. Because, this dude could have probably made a stink of like, they let me come here, and then it would have been this whole big debacle. So maybe somebody was like, look, let's save our asses here and agree to let this guy's passport come on the next flight. But to me, it seems weird. It seems like you could just next day air it in a package and have it shipped to the airport, as opposed to let's put it on the next flight. I mean, either way, it's flying there, but it seems weird to put it on a passenger plane versus a like freight plane or mail delivery service plane.
Do you think it was put on a mail, like a delivery service?
It sounds like the guy brought it to the airport and they put it on the next flight from Riga to Kiev, on like the next passenger flight. That's what it sounds like in the story.
There should be some like globally used database where if you have a valid passport, there's just record of it digitally. And if you happen to forget the physical passport, they can look up that you have an active valid passport, and you should be able to fly.
Can you get your, because you can get like your ID and like all sorts of stuff just digitally now on your phone. Well, I wonder if you can do that with your passport too.
I know in the US anyway, each individual state has to allow that
before they'll make it okay.
Like right now on your phone, I think I know of 2 states that are allowing digital IDs on the phone, and the other 48, they either haven't come to an agreement to pass it or allow it or whatever. All the details haven't been worked out yet, but yeah, so I don't think we're at that point yet.
It gets hard too, because if you lose your phone,
you
have nothing.
Yeah. If you only, I mean, most smart like people that, especially those that are travel savvy, that travel a lot. If you have a phone that you can store your ID and even maybe your passport on it, I'm sure traveling with your real physical passport somewhere in your luggage as well.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of convenience, while you're going through security, you just have it all on your phone, easily accessible there.
Yeah, because like now you don't really have to print your tickets out anymore. You can just have your tickets on your phone and all that kind of shit, because it's just everything's just so much faster that way.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I printed a ticket. I was just having it on my phone. They scan my phone, I go through.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I may have printed the last few times, possibly because I didn't necessarily book. I don't think I booked the last couple flights I took. So then I would just go in and with they would send me the information and then I can just go and print it out. But
yeah,
I don't know.
It's just because those little stations can be kind of hectic, and sometimes, half of them are out of order and the other half are in use by people who don't know what they're doing. And so you're like waiting and waiting. It's just more of a delay and more stuff you have to go through and wait for to try to make your flight. And you're already worried about, is the security line going to be too long? Am I going to make it to my gate in time?
Yeah. So many times that I've gotten to the airport like ridiculously early to make sure that I get through. And then it's like 15 minutes. And it's like, well, all right, go sit at my gate for the next hour and a half before I can even board the flight.
There was one time, I think it was when we went to Knoxville, but we were flying back and we had a layover. But the original flight, the first flight was delayed. And so we didn't know if we were going to make it. Once we got to the layover airport, we didn't know if we were going to make it in time. So we got off that flight and booked it like as fast as we could to the other gate. We get to the other gate and they told us that flight was delayed.
I think the worst delay I had was like 4 or 5 hours.
That's a lot. I mean, that's pretty
It's
bad.
awful. It was a late night flight already. So then it was like, so it just drove it even later. And so it was like,
yeah, the last time that,
I think I ended up like the next day, like calling into work because I'm like, my flight got home so late. I'm like, I'm not going in. Screw that shit.
The last time that my son and all them had gone down to Texas over, I think it was around Thanksgiving last year, their flight home was delayed a few hours like that.
Yeah.
And no, so
it sucks.
They were supposed to get in, maybe around 9 p.m. And then I think they didn't end up getting in until close to 1 a.m. or something like that. It was gross.
Yeah. I've also had that where a flight was delayed and then I had to like book it through. But that one, the second flight was not delayed. And I literally I believe I was the last passenger getting on the flight.
But you were the only one in business class.
And I was worried that my bag, I'm like, I hope to God my bag makes it. So, all right. There, I fixed it. Story of Linda. Is it the same Linda? I don't know.
Do we have a Linda before?
Yep. It was.
We did.
Linda.
Navigation. She was the turnaround.
The colleague story. So let's see if this is the same Linda. One evening at our hotel in Egypt, something happened to the pipes in the bathroom and the stench became unbearable. We called the reception and asked for a technician to come take a look. The dude arrives, takes a sniff, leaves, comes back with an air refresher, sprays it around, smiles at us, and leaves.
He smelled at us.
Hilarious.
I would have called a plumber. Maybe before a technician.
Yeah, and I would have this isn't a funny story. This is like none of these are funny stories. More of these are like, but it's like it's mislabeled, right? I already knew they weren't going to be funny, right? As soon as we started this.
Sure.
But the whole idea of this is mislabeled. It should be like bad travel stories or horror stories because it's all bad things that have happened instead of like a funny thing that happened.
Yeah.
Or I guess the first story was a great thing that happened. But this is like, I would demand my money back or switching rooms or anything like that. Like if that's the kind of care they like, first off, what kind of hotel is this in Egypt that's the way they deal with this situation? It was probably actually a motel. I don't know if they have motels in Egypt.
I don't either. I would say, hey, give us our money back. We'll find another. They should be in charge of, they wouldn't have a hotel book another hotel unless they have a neighboring, like, another hotel they own nearby.
Right.
Be like, we'll set you up here. But yeah, they should have got their money back.
I like how it's an air refresher.
Yeah, the air was fresh and then it became not fresh and now they need to have something come in and refresh it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're presumptuous here by calling them air fresheners, assuming that the air was never fresh to begin with. It's only fresh because of us. And
this is America.
The steps we took to freshen that air for the very first time.
Constantly, breathing in the oxygen and breathing out.
And then what else? What's step 2, Matt?
Breathing out the carbon dioxide.
There it is.
Constantly freshening up that air with our carbon dioxide.
Well, the plants appreciate it. It's a nice balance. It's a coexistence between the plants and the animals.
That's why I have so many plants now.
I don't have any plants in here. I could be slowly dying.
You some plants.
Yeah.
Get you some plants, bro.
I am not good at keeping plants alive. So I
wasn't for a long time, and then I just got good at it. It's really not hard.
I don't know that it's something I really care to get good at.
You know literally what it takes?
Water.
Just watering on a schedule.
Exhale on it?
No, you don't even have to do that. Watering on a schedule and then occasionally repotting them. That's about it.
Whoa. Repot? It's in a pot.
But you have to move them into another pot with fresh soil every once in a while.
Just change out the soil in the same pot. Why does it got to be a different pot? Dump out the soil. Because
they grow.
I mean, new soil.
Because they outgrow the pots that they're in.
That's why you plan ahead and you plan for that growth by initially putting them in a gigantic pot.
Yeah, nothing like having a tiny plant in a giant pot to begin with.
Yeah, it provides for initial moments of hilarity. oh, check out this completely disproportionate plant.
That sounds about
ratio.
as funny as these stories.
Well, it might be. I don't know. I'm not a good judge of this. All right, let's go on. Sorry, Linda. I can't determine whether or not you're the same Linda from the first story that involved a Linda, but we're going to assume not. All right, number 9, the teeth. Story of Asia. Aija?
I think it's Aja.
I was a guide to this nice group that had all become good friends during our quite long trip. So this one time I feel that some So this one time I feel that some combination begins at the back of the bus. I think they meant to type commotion.
Yeah.
I feel that some commotion begins at the back of the bus. People running there to take pictures. So I go to take a look and see one of the guys had fallen asleep. Has fallen asleep. Okay. Whoever wrote this, English isn't their first language. Okay. One of the guys has fallen asleep. His head tilted back, mouth open, but teeth closed. The prosthetic teeth had fallen off. OMG.
What? Why did that cause a combination?
Yeah.
There's no
I
way.
couldn't concentrate because of all the combination.
Like, first off, anybody who says, so this one time, I just immediately don't give a shit.
Well, also, what prosthetic teeth? When's the last time you heard him referred to that in that way?
And who says they have fallen off?
Yeah.
But people aren't going to be running back and taking pictures. Oh my God. Look at his teeth fell out. He's asleep. It's like, no, you just like, hey dude, wake him up.
Yeah. You just go, oh, that's unfortunate. And then you turn back around. They're like, oh, they'll take care of it on their own once they wake up.
Yeah.
This must be a very immature group.
Well, yeah. And also had all become good friends during our quite long trip. And then immediately let's immediately take pictures and do horrible things to this guy who's fallen asleep.
Well, you do that with your friends. You're at a kegger. Yeah. Maybe there was a kegger on this trip, which caused the combination.
It could have been.
So your friend passes out. You start doodling on their face.
Yeah, you jazz all over their face.
Jazz all over the face. Draw. I don't know. You draw a mustache on one of their teeth,
and
a black eye on the other one, and then you draw right outside their mouth, penis go in here, all times.
I like it. I like also that it's like, I feel that some commotion begins at the back when clearly there was a commotion. Like, I felt it. My guide senses were tingling and told me that there was a commotion happening at the back of the bus.
I was in a deep
Turns
state.
out there was.
I was in a deep state of guided meditation. And I sensed the combination near my,
all right,
to the rear of me.
Let's move on to the next story, number 10.
I think we should cap it off here at number 10.
We're gonna end it with number 10. We don't want to give it all away on this episode.
I don't want to unload
save
all
some
this
for
jazz.
never.
Yeah, I want to save some of this jazz for another episode.
Yeah, we want to save some of this for never again.
Or I was going to say, or we don't revisit this list.
We probably won't.
This list does not deserve any of our jazz.
This one's called My Independent Son, Story of Janice.
A historically male name.
It was last spring.
Okay.
As me and my 14-year-old son were on a biker tour in the USA.
All right.
We stopped in Austin and took a bus to the city center, as our hotel was a bit on the outskirts of the city. I go to the bar, but they won't let my son in there with me.
If you're on a biker tour, why are you taking a bus anywhere?
Well, I think they stopped in Austin for probably the night.
Okay.
And so her son and her probably didn't want to bike into the city because they'd already been biking a bunch. So they took the bus into the city to get some food. Well,
Gotcha.
She wanted to go to a bar. Yeah. I go to the bar, but they won't let my son in with me. So we agree that he takes the map, some money, and says he'll be fine on his own to take the bus back. This is your 14-year-old son in a city you've never been in before. And you're like, go ahead, son. Here's some money. You figure it out. Here's the map. take the map. So apparently it's a printed out map of the city.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's like take my phone with this map on it.
Yeah.
I think you're maybe a little quick to assume that it's the son and the mother.
I guess so. I don't know why I just assumed that.
Because,
anyways,
I mean, I don't know why you would, because women don't exist according to you.
Yeah. I'm starting to regret that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I drink 1 beer and then get a cider by accident. Drink it anyway, but the feel really sick. So I head back to the hotel quickly. I am shocked to find that my son isn't there and I can't reach him. I call the head organizer of our trip. What should I do? He says call 911. I still decide to wait a bit. Mere 5 minutes later, my son shows up, surprised that I am there before him and sober from worry by then. Turns out he went to the bus stop, saw the schedule, and realized he'd need to wait really long and decided to walk back. I don't know why there was a break in that, which
dramatic.
Wasn't as near as I had expected, but he still saw a lot of interesting things. A woman had approached him asking him if he had gotten lost, but he had said no. That's it.
Great.
So what's weird to me is, so he gets, first off, how do you not know that you can't bring, I mean, these people obviously sound like they're not from the States, but you should still know that your 14-year-old son can't go in the bar with you.
I suppose it's probably,
but then you're also so worried about you needing to get a drink that you're just like, okay, 14-year-old son, you head off on your own in this city in a country we're not familiar with.
Like, why can't you just respectfully wait 5 years and then go get a drink?
Or go to like a restaurant that
7
serves
years.
alcohol so your son can sit with you. You can still have your beer instead of going specifically to a bar.
Look, because then he or she has to buy food for 2, and they just don't have that kind of cash.
You don't even have to. You can go to a restaurant and just get a drink.
That's weird, though.
No, it's not that weird. Also, I love I can't reach my son. Let me talk to the organizer. What should I do? Call the cops.
Yeah. No. Let me think of the first common sense answer that comes to mind. And great. So the same person that can't figure out what to do.
You're a parent of 14 years and you don't know what to do if your child goes missing?
Yeah. This is revealing a lot about this person.
And then also like, no, I don't want to bother the police. I'll just wait a little longer to see if my son who's missing shows up. But what's the weirdest part to me is that his son went to the bus stop, realized he'd have to wait a really long time. But when the parent leaves, they clearly took the bus back. So how long would the kid have had to wait for the bus? If the parent immediately got on the bus and then apparently would have had to have passed the kid at some point on the way back.
It all depends on how long the parent was drinking.
I guess. But if the parent was drinking that long and then got back 5 minutes, still 5 minutes before the kid did.
That means where they were staying was just really far away from the bar.
I don't know. But they headed back to the hotel quickly. How do you accidentally order a cider?
Yeah, because if the first drink you order is a beer, just go, I'll have another. And then you get the exact same drink. Or
if you accidentally ordered something you didn't like, just be like, oh, I didn't mean to order this. And then they'll just give you the other thing you actually wanted. They're not going to make you drink something you don't want to drink.
Well, this person doesn't want to.
Most likely won't even charge you for it.
They don't want to trouble anybody. They're like, look, I must have ordered it.
Apparently, they don't even want to trouble the police.
Yeah. Well, they don't. They, yeah, you're right. In conclusion,
also a woman had approached him asking him if he had gotten lost. No, she didn't.
In conclusion, as expected, none of these stories are funny at all.
No, but the thing is like, to me, like the other stories that we had read that were supposed to be funny, like you could tell why they were supposed to be funny, even though they kind of weren't, and they just kind of missed the target. These barely register as stories.
Yeah, I mean, they're just circumstances that are unfortunate in most cases, like the business class lady getting the special treatment. That's not really unfortunate.
No, but like a lot of these are like, I guess, like I said earlier, they're funny in the vacuum of like this is kind of a goofy story you tell your friends, but like anybody outside, it's that whole thing of like kind of like an inside joke. Like it's funny to these couple of people, or like it makes sense in the context of these few people, but outside of that, nobody related to this story is going to find this even like entertaining.
Well, clear, yeah, we showed that here. Okay, here's what I want to pose to the listeners. If any of you happen to have read this list before, did you let us know if you thought these stories were funny?
Yeah,
because you know what? And if we don't get any response, then the answer is no.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just the audacity of this being called 20 best absolutely real funny stories that will make you cry from laughter.
So I do want to read
the audacity of that title.
Well, hold on. I mean, it might not be so out of reach here, because I scrolled all the way down to, there are 3 comments that have been posted about this list. Comment number 1 from Testissimo says, "What a great and hilarious collection of stories. I especially enjoyed the top one. It just goes to show how friendships can be made so quickly and last a lifetime. Thanks for sharing." The comment number 2 from yeah,
that has nothing to do with the first story.
"Something tells me these weren't typed by real people. LOL, these stories made me laugh. Thanks. I needed that today. Particularly love that the guy just held your husband's hand too. It is stories like these that make me love travel so much. It is never the destinations that stick in my mind, but the experiences we have along the way." And then someone replied to that, "I am glad you enjoyed these stories." So, Matt, maybe there's just some kind of wire that's not connected in our brains to enjoy these stories as heavily as these two commenters. But I've often thought of that about myself, whereas there's so many things that so many people find funny and I don't. And I'm like, maybe there's just something off about me, and I'm a little less human.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Here's the question. Do you ever think, oh man, maybe why can't I be more like that? Where I could just see something so stupid like that and like legitimately laugh at it and just go through life finding so much more like joy out of stupid little everyday things that I get annoyed by. Like, do you ever think that? Or are you just like completely content with how you are?
I've never thought that, and I don't know. Maybe life would be easier, but would it be more interesting?
Well, you would probably find things more interesting.
I would probably find things more, but I don't know. I guess if I had that mindset, I wouldn't know any better. So I would just be a blissful idiot.
Yeah.
So would I rather be a blissful idiot than a ornery genius? No, I don't know. I guess I've tried so much harder as I've gotten older to not be so like harshly opinionated about things, or like just hate on shit that I don't particularly like. Like I try to just be like, hey, you know what? It's somebody's cup of tea, right?
Yep. But
there's some things I just can't get around, of just like, I'll never understand Florida.
Wow. like the ground, like the land that is Florida.
Just everything about Florida.
So remove all the occupants and Florida is empty and it's just land. Like
that's fine.
Okay.
It's
what is it really? What is it really then?
I'll never understand Floridians.
That's it. With all their fluoride.
Like, there's just certain places that it's just like I just can't wrap my head around certain things. And if it makes people happy, cool. And if they're not hurting anybody, fine. But I don't know. I'm a cynical bitch, and I'll probably always be a cynical bitch. And I would hope that's part of my charm, but maybe it's what makes me an asshole.
Maybe. I was driving these dudes home from a bar last night.
Dudes.
Yeah. There was 3 dudes, and they were all probably in their mid to late 50s, I'd say. Maybe mid 50s.
So actually, dudes, not bros. Nice.
Yeah, straight up. They're past bro, but they were obviously a little drunk. They had all been drinking at the bar, but they weren't in like belligerent or anything like that. But I'd say it was probably a 25-minute trip, and they kept picking on this one guy. I forget his name, but they're like, dude, how can you not lock it in with one of those women that was there? How do you not? How did you not? We set it right up for you. How did you not? And they just would all start laughing. And then like 3 minutes later, dude, how did you not lock it in with those women there? Like, that's so lame. Yeah, totally. What you know, they just repeated that over and over and over and over again. And they had nothing else to say to each other, really. And then I'm like, this counts? Like, this counts as being funny? Like, one guy would say it, and they would all laugh to each other about the same exact thing that was just said 3 to 4 minutes prior. And like that was it. That was enough.
You know, you could have killed.
I could have.
If you would have just turned back to him and just be like,
dude, why did you not lock? Yeah.
How did you not lock it down with those?
That would have,
it would have absolutely killed.
It would have killed. I wasn't really feeling it.
It's the lowest common denominator of comedy.
That was low hanging fruit for sure. I could have easily grabbed that pear. I don't know, some fruit, but
some fruit that hangs low.
I was more dumbfounded. Like, they're saying the same things just on repeat, and they're laughing every time. It's like this one coworker that one day I decided, I forget, I don't know how old she is, but we'd walk by each other and I would just go meow, and then she would laugh. And she still laughs every time I do it. And I always sit back and wonder, just because of how I am. I'm like, are these real laughs, or are they just like fake laughs?
She probably thinks you're fucking like autistic or something.
Maybe, but I just wonder how can someone hear the same, regardless of it's funny or not, like the level of it, how funny it might be. Even if you hear the most hilarious joke in the world,
right? If
you hear it 3 times. Feel like, okay, I got it. It's not going to make me actually laugh anymore because I already know what's coming. And this isn't even that. This is just me meowing. And this person laughs every time. And I have to just think that it's fake. Like it's more to maybe just acknowledge that, oh, yes, I heard what you said. And I still think
heard what you meowed.
I heard what you meowed.
I think it would be funny if at one point, all of a sudden, you get called into HR. So we got this complaint that you've been meowing at a coworker.
I'm like, yeah, why is this coming up now? I've been doing this for months.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Did I say? I meant it was an isolated incident, and yeah, I don't know. So I guess the long and the short of it is, I don't think that there's just something off about me where I can't just enjoy such simple things like that so easily. And it makes me wonder, like, is there some kind of wire crossed where?
No, I don't know. I think it's just different levels of senses of humor.
Yeah.
And some people just are more easily amused than others. Like if by the 3rd time you meowed at me, I would have said, like, why do you keep meowing at me?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? And then you just, oh no, it's just a thing I do. I'm like, all right, whatever. And
it kills at the office.
Apparently. Yeah, I don't know. Those guys probably just have a fucking, repertoire with each other where they just fucking nag on each other like that. Plus they were, slightly inebriated. So I'm sure it was just that much funnier because of that as well.
And with these guys, nothing against them, and I don't know, I didn't see any
of
their
listeners.
I didn't see any of the women that they were with, but I'm pretty sure none of you had anything locked in. You probably didn't. They're all acting like, because one of them was like, yeah, I could have slept with 10 of them that were there, and you can't settle this or whatever. You can't get down with one of them.
They look like a bunch of guys that go to jazz theaters.
Yeah, they go to a movie theater and secretly jazz
off.
Yeah, jazz off.
See you next Tuesday.
Meow. You laughed.
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at hsfamouspod, or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior.
Sterile Meep, that's what I call her.